Welcome to Rain and Stories, your go-to place for unwinding and drifting into dreamland. Tonight, we've prepared a special bedtime story designed to help you relax and fall asleep quickly. So, make yourself comfortable, let go of the day's stress, and get ready to embark on a journey to the land of dreams. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to always stay updated with our latest soothing stories. Let's begin our peaceful adventure. Bedtime Story: A Second Chance at Farewell. In the quiet town where Eliza grew up, time seemed to move at its own leisurely pace, with days seamlessly blending into one another. Her grandmother, a woman of gentle strength and boundless wisdom, had been her constant companion, weaving stories of old that danced like the light through the leaves of their backyard oak. Eliza's world turned gray the day her grandmother passed away. Sudden and without warning, the regret of unsaid goodbyes and unspent moments gnawed at her, a constant companion in the silent hours of the night. She replayed their last conversation over and over, wishing for just one more chance to express her love, to say goodbye properly. In her search for solace, Eliza stumbled upon an artifact hidden deep within her grandmother's things, a curious, ancient-looking locket, cold to the touch but pulsing with an unseen energy. As she clasped it in her hands, a whisper of the past seemed to caress her, bringing with it a flood of memories and a sense of immense possibility. That night, under the soft glow of the moon, Eliza dreamt of days long gone. When she awoke, she found herself wrapped in the familiar comfort of yesterday. The realization dawned on her slowly. The locket had granted her the unthinkable, a chance to step back in time by one day. With a heart pounding with hope and determination, Eliza set out to rewrite her final goodbye, to fill it with the love and warmth she had held back, thinking there would always be another day. She found her grandmother in the garden, her hands busy among the flowers, her face lifted towards the sun, serene and content. The day unfolded with a bittersweet beauty, as Eliza and her grandmother shared moments of laughter and stories, each word a treasure. When the time came, Eliza held her grandmother close, pouring all her love into their farewell, unaware of the ripples this single moment would create in the fabric of fate. As she stepped back into the present, the locket warm against her skin, Eliza felt a mixture of peace and an inexplicable sense of foreboding. The day was just as she left it, yet something, somewhere, had shifted. A change so subtle yet so profound, it would take her on a journey through the intricate web of fate, love, and loss, teaching her that some goodbyes were never meant to be altered. Eliza woke to a world that felt subtly different, like a painting slightly altered, where the colors are just a shade too bright, the shadows a touch too deep. She wandered through her day, the weight of her grandmother's absence a constant echo in her heart, yet with the solace of their final, beautiful goodbye to cushion the blow. But as the days unfolded, a gnawing unease began to grow within her. The town, once familiar, now held whispers of change she couldn't quite grasp. People she knew well behaved strangely, their greetings tinged with an unfamiliarity that left her puzzled. It was as if the threads of their lives had been pulled too taut, warping the tapestry of their community in subtle but unsettling ways. The first real sign that something was amiss came from Mrs. Thompson, the librarian, who had always been a close friend of her grandmother. They had met by chance at the market, and after exchanging pleasantries, Mrs. Thompson mentioned, almost offhandedly, "It's such a shame about the old mill closing down. So many lost their jobs, and all because Mr. Harris missed that crucial meeting last week. If only he had known how important it was." Eliza froze. Mr. Harris, the owner of the local mill, had been a cornerstone of the community, known for his punctuality and dedication. The meeting Mrs. Thompson referred to should have been unmissable. Yet, as she delved deeper, Eliza discovered that the meeting had coincided with the time she had spent with her grandmother on that altered day. Panic began to claw at Eliza's heart. The realization that her actions might have caused these ripples, these shifts in the fabric of her community, was overwhelming. She needed answers, and there was only one place she could think of that might hold them: the locket. Returning home, she clasped the locket in her hands, its surface now warm, almost alive. She willed it to take her back, to show her the consequences of her actions, but it remained stubbornly silent, a keeper of secrets too vast for her to understand. As night fell, Eliza lay awake, the locket's weight a constant reminder of her choice. She had wanted to give her grandmother a beautiful goodbye, a moment of love and peace, but in doing so, had she altered the course of other lives too? The intricate web of fate had been disturbed, and Eliza realized that every action, every choice, carried with it a shadow of consequence. Determined to understand the full extent of her actions, Eliza set out to trace the threads she had inadvertently tangled. She needed to know if there was a way to mend the fabric she had torn, to restore the balance she had upset. Little did she know, her journey was only just beginning, leading her down paths of discovery, heartache, and the profound realization that some things, once changed, can never be made right again. As the dawn of realization broke over Eliza, the world around her seemed to hold its breath. The locket, once a beacon of hope, now lay heavy around her neck, a symbol of the complexity of her actions. She had changed a moment, a farewell, but with it, she had unknowingly altered the fabric of fate itself. Her grandmother's absence was a wound that refused to heal, but as Eliza ventured into the world, she began to notice subtle discrepancies, small threads of reality that seemed out of place. People she remembered, moments that should have happened, were now just whispers of what might have been. The weight of her discovery grew as she learned of a missed chance encounter. Her grandmother, by being in a different place at that critical moment, had not met the stranger, who, in the original timeline, had shared crucial information about an experimental treatment for her sudden illness, a treatment that could have saved her life. The realization hit Eliza like a tidal wave, pulling her under with guilt and remorse. The gift of a final goodbye came at a cost she had never anticipated. Her heart ached with the burden of her choice. The love that had motivated her now entwined with the sorrow of understanding the consequences of altering time. In her search for answers, Eliza turned to the locket once more, hoping to find a way to undo the changes she had made. Yet, the artifact remained silent, its secrets locked away as if it, too, mourned the loss of what had been. She was left to navigate the tangled aftermath of her actions, a path that led her through the depths of her own grief and towards a deeper understanding of the intricate dance between fate and free will. Through this journey, Eliza began to see that her grandmother's legacy was not just in the moments they had shared, but in the wisdom that had been passed down through her stories and laughter. She realized that love, in its purest form, transcends the confines of time and space, and that saying goodbye was only one part of their eternal connection. With a heavy heart, Eliza learned to live in a world reshaped by her choices, finding solace in the memories of her grandmother and the love that continued to guide her. She understood now that every action, every decision, weaves its own thread in the fabric of the universe, creating a tapestry rich with the colors of love, loss, and the human experience. In the quietude that followed her turbulent realizations, Eliza found herself at a crossroads, the locket's enigmatic power a heavy secret in her heart. The world around her, altered by her own hands, seemed to echo with the silent question of what might have been. Yet, within this echo, there was a subtle harmony, a reminder that life, in its essence, was a tapestry of interconnected threads, each one essential to the whole. As days slipped into weeks, Eliza embarked on a journey inward, reflecting on the nature of fate and the indelible mark of her actions. She found solace in the arts, in the beauty of the written word, and the stories that spoke of love's resilience through the ages. It was in these moments of quiet reflection that Eliza began to weave her own narrative, one that sought to understand the balance between the love that binds us and the inevitable farewell that awaits us all. With the locket as her muse, Eliza started to pen a series of letters to her grandmother, a cathartic endeavor that bridged the gap between the past and the present. These letters, filled with the wisdom gleaned from her journey, spoke of her struggles, her revelations, and the undying love that had propelled her across the boundaries of time. She wrote of the beauty in letting go, in accepting the impermanence of life as the very thing that makes it precious. As the seasons changed, bringing with them the promise of renewal, Eliza found a quiet strength within herself. She became a guardian of her grandmother's stories, sharing them with those who sought the comfort of understanding their own losses. Her words, imbued with the lessons of her journey, became a beacon for others navigating the intricate web of fate and choice. One crisp autumn day, as she walked through the garden where she had shared those last moments with her grandmother, Eliza felt a sense of peace envelop her. The locket, once a reminder of what she had changed, now symbolized the acceptance of life's inherent unpredictability. She understood that her journey through time was not about altering fate, but about embracing the depth of her love and the pain of loss as two sides of the same coin. In this newfound clarity, Eliza realized that her story was not defined by the moments she had sought to change, but by the love that had driven her to cross the bounds of time. This realization was her true farewell to her grandmother, a farewell that carried not the weight of regret, but the lightness of gratitude for the love they had shared and the lessons learned along the way. As the wheel of time continued its relentless spin, Eliza's journey through the maze of grief and understanding gradually led her to the threshold of a new beginning. The garden, once a place of shared secrets and laughter with her grandmother, had transformed under her care into a vibrant testament to the cycles of life and loss, a visual metaphor for her own path to healing. With each flower that bloomed, Eliza was reminded of the impermanence of life and the beauty that lies in the moments we share. The locket, no longer a tool of temporal escapades, had found its place around her neck as a symbol of her journey, a journey not just back in time, but into the depths of her own heart. The community around her, touched by the stories of her grandmother and the wisdom Eliza had,